Between the years 1896 and 1897, a group of criminals known as the Rufus Buck Gang caused panic and violence in the Indian Territory, a region that is now part of the state of Oklahoma. The gang consisted of 5 young individuals of mixed heritage, with 2 of African American descent and 3 of Native American descent, belonging to the Creek and Seminole tribes. They carried out multiple robberies of farms, stores, and travelers. In the 19th century, one of the most remarkable leaders of the Lakota people was a warrior named Crazy Horse. He was born around 1840 and grew up learning the traditions and values of his culture. He stood out for his bravery and skill in combat, earning the respect and admiration of his tribe. He led his people in various battles against the United States Army, which was attempting to remove them from their ancestral lands. Black Canyon has a rich and diverse history that dates back billions of years. Native Americans were the first inhabitants of the canyon, where they lived in harmony with nature and utilized the resources of the Gunnison River. They belonged to the Ute, Paiute, Navajo, and Hopi tribes, and left traces of their culture in the form of rock art, pottery, and tools. The Wheeler Survey Group was a United States government initiative to explore and map the American West in 1869. The group was led by Captain George M. Wheeler, an officer from the United States Army Corps of Engineers. The group consisted of professionals from various fields, including topographic engineering, geology, botany, zoology, and photography. Doc Holliday is famous for his involvement in the OK Corral shootout, but his story has many other interesting facets. Holliday was born in Georgia in 1851, the son of a planter and a physician. He had a privileged childhood and received a quality education. He excelled as a student and graduated with a degree in dentistry at the age of 20. The Buffalo Soldiers were a group of African American soldiers who served in the United States Army during the Indian Wars. The term Buffalo Soldier was first used by Cheyenne warriors, who likened the soldiers' bravery and resilience to that of buffaloes in battle. The Buffalo Soldiers were the first African Americans to serve as regulars in the United States Army. Deadwood is a small town located in the heart of the Black Hills, a mountainous region in the state of South Dakota. The town was founded in 1876 during the gold rush and became a center for mining and commerce. However, the town was also notorious for its lack of law and order, and was home to many notorious characters from Old West history. Alfred A. Hart was an American photographer who became famous for his documentation of the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad, a project that connected the east and west of the United States in the 19th century. Hart was born in England in 1816, but moved to the United States with his family when he was only 9 years old. On May 10, 1869, a historic event occurred in the construction of the United States railroads. On this date, the 2 railroad companies working on the construction of the country's first transcontinental railroad, the Central Pacific and the Union Pacific, met at a point called Promontory in the state of Utah. Cowboys had a style of dressing that was suitable for their tough and demanding work in the field. They wore clothing that could withstand long horseback rides, often lasting for hours or even days. Typical cowboy attire consisted of a button-up shirt made of cotton or wool, which provided protection from both cold and heat. They also wore durable and washable jeans. The Old Mission Church, also known as San Miguel Mission, was a Spanish colonial church located in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It was built around 1610 and is considered the oldest church in the United States, excluding Puerto Rico. The church was erected by Franciscan friars with the goal of converting native Indians to Christianity and reducing resistance to the arrival of Europeans. Louisa Houston was a woman who chose to live a life of adventure and romance in the Wild West. She was born in Wisconsin to a large and wealthy family. She was not related to the famous General Samuel Houston, as some believed. She was intelligent, educated, and beautiful, and could have married someone of her social class. However, she chose to follow her heart and fell in love with Morgan Earp, one of the Earp brothers known for their involvement in the OK Corral shootout. Johnny Ringo was born in 1850 in Indiana and became one of the most famous outlaws of the American Old West. He was involved in various armed conflicts, such as the Mason County War in Texas and the OK Corral shootout in Tombstone, Arizona, where he sided with the Cowboys against the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday. He was known for his quick draw and accuracy with a pistol, earning him a reputation as one of the best shooters of his time. In the 19th century, the region known as the Old West was inhabited by settlers, adventurers, outlaws, and Native Americans. In this setting, dogs played a crucial role in people's lives, serving as guardians, hunters, herders, and companions. Dogs had been present in North America for thousands of years, domesticated by native peoples long before the arrival of Europeans and their horses. Old Style Saloon No. 10 is a historic bar located in the city of Deadwood, South Dakota, in the United States. The bar was founded in 1876, during the peak of the gold rush in the region, and witnessed various significant events in the history of the Old West. One of them was the murder of James Butler Wild Bill Hickok, a famous gunslinger, gambler, and sheriff who was shot and killed while playing poker at the saloon. In the 19th century, the region known as the Old West was inhabited by settlers, adventurers, outlaws, and Native Americans. In this setting, many men lived alone, without family or friends, facing the hardships and dangers of frontier life. For them, the Old West bars were more than just commercial establishments. They were social spaces where they could meet other men with whom to share their stories, problems, dreams, and plans. Paula Hubbard was photographed in a picturesque scene in the early 20th century, possibly in the state of Nevada. She was seated in a traditional carriage, a common mode of transportation at that time, pulled by a sturdy horse. By her side, a loyal dog accompanied her, adding a touch of warmth to the image. In an image captured in the year 1900, a skilled farmer is seen interacting with nature in a rather unique way. He is on a farm, an unspecified location, performing the daily task of milking a cow. However, what makes this scene particularly memorable is the presence of a curious cat. The farmer, with a smile on his face, squirts a stream of fresh milk directly from the cow into the cat's open mouth. For 26 years, between 1874 and 1900, the Cabinet Saloon was one of the main gathering spots for patrons of Whiskey Row, a famous street known for its bars and saloons in Prescott, Arizona. The establishment offered its customers a variety of beverages, including cold beer, fancy cocktails, imported mineral water from Europe, and high-quality whiskey. Traveling by stagecoach was a risky and uncomfortable adventure. A journey from Tipton, Missouri to San Francisco, California, covered a total distance of about 2,800 miles, crossing hostile and wild territories. Travelers embarking on this journey had to endure long hours of non-stop travel, day and night, facing heat, cold, dust, rain, snow, hunger, thirst, illness, robberies, and Indian attacks. The journey lasted on average 25 days but could vary depending on weather conditions and difficulties encountered along the way. In 1950, an elderly man named Ollie L. Roberts, better known as Brushy Bill Roberts, claimed to be the legendary outlaw Billy the Kid, who had allegedly escaped death in 1881 and lived under a false identity for decades. To prove his claim, he traveled to Fort Sumner, New Mexico, where Billy the Kid was supposedly shot and killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett. During the period from 1894 to 1905, in the town of Dawson, located in the Yukon Territory, a peculiar scene could be observed. A young boy with a smile on his face was sitting in a small cart. What made the scene interesting was that the cart was not being pulled by horses or a motorized vehicle, but by a team of sturdy and well-trained dogs. During the warmer seasons of the year, from spring to autumn, cowboys working in the vast landscapes of the American West, including Wyoming drillers, led a life that could be considered quite rustic. Most of their meals were not consumed in the comfort of a bunkhouse or the farm owner's dining room. Instead, they often found themselves eating on the ground, under the open sky. The photograph was captured by A. Frank Randall, a frontier photographer known for his work with the Apache people in Arizona and New Mexico between 1883 and 1887. The image depicts an unknown girl, her dog, and a cart pulled by a donkey. Unfortunately, the exact location of the photo is unknown, but it is known that there was a tennis court at Fort Apache. In the year 1880, photographer David Barry took a picture of Lakota Rain in the Face, one of the most respected chiefs of the Sioux tribe. In the image, he is seen holding his preferred weapon, a Winchester Model 73 rifle, which was known as the gun that won the West. Lakota Rain in the Face was one of the leaders who planned and executed the surprise attack against Lieutenant Colonel George A. Custer's troops at the Battle of Little Bighorn in 1876.